The day before I was about to get engaged to my boyfriend, he disappeared. The police found my boyfriend's blood-stained clothes by the seaside. Everyone advised me to accept the loss and move on. I neither cried nor made a fuss. Instead, I turned around and got a marriage certificate with his best friend. 5 years later, we met unexpectedly in a bridal shop. My boyfriend was accompanying a strange girl to choose a wedding dress. His friends all tried to excuse him, saying, Lucas was kidnapped back then. He managed to escape death but lost his memory. Don't hold it against him. My boyfriend sized me up and said, so you're my ex-girlfriend who was destined not to be with me. You don't look that great. Considering that you've been in love with me for so many years, I'll reluctantly marry you. Before I could say anything, my 3-year-old daughter stood in front of me and said, Uncle, you're not allowed to bully my mommy. Otherwise, I'll ask my daddy to beat you up. Looking at the suddenly appearing little girl, Lucas frowned. His friend beside him looked puzzled and asked, Nema, who's this little girl? Your adopted daughter? It's no wonder they thought that way. Back then, I insisted on marrying no one but Lucas. This stubbornness really gave both sets of parents and our surrounding friends a headache. After Lucas disappeared, everyone was afraid that I might do something stupid, so they tried to comfort me both directly and indirectly. I was too lazy to deal with Lucas's bunch of friends, so I just said bluntly, you've got the wrong person. I'm not your ex-girlfriend. Let me introduce you again. This is my daughter, my biological daughter. I picked up my daughter and was about to leave the bridal shop. The salesperson shouted from behind, Miss, the wedding dress you ordered is ready. I didn't look back and said, just throw the wedding dress away, I'll transfer the remaining payment to your account. Lucas couldn't hold back in the end and blocked my way before I could go out. Your name is Emma, right? My friend told me that something happened to me the day before we were going to get engaged. Although I don't remember you, I'll fulfill my promise. There's no need for you to bring a little girl here to make me angry. Lucas pretended to look innocent, but there was a hint of pride in the depths of his eyes. He was sure that since I loved him so much, it was impossible for me to get married and have a child with someone else just a few years after he disappeared. This was simply unthinkable. Then his gaze turned to my daughter in my arms. Little one, tell Uncle, who's your mommy? My daughter replied in a sweet voice, this is my mommy. Her name is Emma. The smile on Lucas's face didn't fade at all. He still said gently, little one, it's not right to tell lies, you know? Seeing that Lucas wanted to pester me further, I interrupted him directly. Sir, you've got the wrong person. If you keep this up, I'll call the police and report you for harassment. Lucas touched his nose awkwardly and reluctantly stepped aside. After making sure I had left, his friend beside him patted Lucas on the shoulder and said, Lucas, you seem to have gone too far this time. Judging by the look of it, Mama is really angry. Lucas waved his hand infuriately and said, don't worry. We grew up together since we were kids. I know her personality very well. She'll be angry for at most a few days. After I play around for another month, I'll tell her that my memory has recovered, and she'll definitely hug me and cry with joy. I carried my daughter back to the villa. Julian was cooking in the kitchen. When she heard the sound, my daughter happily threw herself into Julian's arms. Daddy, there was a bad uncle in the bridal shop today who bullied Mommy. You have to avenge Mommy. The little one clenched her small fists, looking fierce in a cute way. A cold light flashed in Julian's eyes. He was about to ask further when his phone rang at that moment. Baby, help Daddy get the phone. Julian had oil stains on both hands, so he could only ask his daughter for help. His daughter groped in Julian's pocket with her small hand and skillfully turned on the speakerphone. Julian, I must have been unlucky today. I ran into Emma in the bridal shop. She seems really angry. She even brought a little girl to make me angry. This time, I've really gone too far. You're my best friend. You must help me. Lucas's voice came through the phone, sounding particularly loud in the spacious living room. Julian's eyes changed, and he quickly hung up the phone. I looked at him with a half smile and said, your best friend. You must help him, right? My daughter's little head was full of confusion. Daddy, why does this person's voice sound the same as the person who bullied mommy in the bridal shop? Julie indirectly changed the subject. The meal is ready. Let's eat. Lucas and I were childhood sweethearts and grew up together. Lucas had a sunny and lively personality, was sweet-talking, and easily won the favor of girls. In college, in order to pursue Lucas, I often went to the downstairs of his dormitory to confess my love. I sent love letters to his class and brought him breakfast. People around us were both envious and jealous. I declared, Lucas is the boyfriend I have chosen. If anyone dares to bully him, don't blame me for being rude. Our two families were also well matched in social status. He was also very good to me. He took me skiing, skydiving, and to various business gatherings. People around us all tacitly acknowledged our relationship. The elders of our two families chose an auspicious day and set the wedding date. The day before the engagement, Lucas disappeared. Everyone went out to look for him, and finally, the police were alerted. The police found Lucas's blood-stained clothes by the seaside and speculated that Lucas had met with an accident. At night, I received a strange video. In the video, Lucas was drinking a toast with a strange girl. He laughed recklessly and arrogantly, saying, "Marriage is the grave of love. Who wants to get married so early? I'll fake my death and play around for a few years. After a few years when I'm tired of playing, I'll marry Emma. During this time, you guys help to comfort Emma more and don't let her do anything stupid." Someone asked him, "Aren't you afraid that Emma will turn around and marry someone else?" Lucas sneered and said, "Don't worry at all. I know Emma's personality. Even if I don't die, and even if I really die, she'll remain a widow for me." The video ended abruptly at this point. All my sadness became a joke at that moment. The next day, I met Julian, who was being pressured by his family to get married, at the gate of the Civil Affairs Bureau. I said, "Shall we get a marriage certificate, you and I?" Julian pushed up his gold-rimmed glasses. There was no change in his expression, and he just replied with a yes. Just like that, Julian and I became husband and wife in the eyes of the law. We didn't have a wedding, just got a marriage certificate. And we didn't tell any of our relatives or friends. During the meal, Julian said, "You weren't satisfied with today's wedding dress. I've already asked the designer to make a new one. You can communicate your ideas and requirements with the designer." I replied indifferently, "We'll talk about it later." Julian frowned. "You're not planning to let our daughter be an illegitimate child for the rest of her life, are you?" I put down my chopsticks and said, "Julian, we agreed at the beginning that I would help you deal with those women and the pressure from your family to get married, and you would help me keep an eye on Lucas's movements. If it weren't for that accidental drunkenness, I would never have given birth to this child. When I found out I was pregnant, I wanted to have an abortion. It was only because you kept assuring me that I decided to keep the baby. If you're worried about her being gossiped about, you can give her the status of the daughter of the Julian group. As for my status, I don't want to make it public for now." Julian sneered, picked up his daughter, and turned to leave. Just like this, a month passed. Julie deliberately or unintentionally suppressed Lucas's company. A month later, Lucas sent me a message but found that he never got a reply. He called me but found that he had been blocked. He used his friend's phone to call me. "Ma, I have good news for you. My memory has recovered." I didn't say anything and hung up the phone directly. Lucas thought I didn't hear him and sent me a message again using his friend's phone. "Ma, I have good news for you. My memory has recovered. I'm Lucas. You've had a tough time these years. From now on, I'll bear all your hardships. Call me back when you see this message. I miss you." Julian's eyes turned cold, and he directly replied to the message. "My wife is taking a shower and it's not convenient. If you have anything to say, just tell me directly." Lucas immediately became agitated and bombarded me with phone calls. Julie indirectly blocked and deleted him without hesitation. The next day Lucas waited on the road I had to pass by. When he saw that I was driving alone, he heaved a sigh of relief. "Ma, I brought you your favorite steamed buns. Look, they're still fresh." As Lucas spoke, he skillfully opened my car door and got in directly. The smell of the steamed buns filled the entire car. I frowned. "Get out." Lucas paused for a moment. "Nah, are you still angry with me? I lost my memory back then and really didn't know about our relationship. If I had known, I definitely wouldn't have said anything to hurt you." Before I could speak, Lucas showed off the steamed buns and placed them in front of me. The smell of the low-quality meat made me want to vomit. I directly snatched the breakfast from his hand and threw it into the trash can outside the window. "I never eat steamed buns." I looked at him and said word by word. Lucas slapped his head in frustration. "Ma, I'm sorry. I've just recovered my memory and haven't remembered your taste yet. It's my fault, it's my fault. What do you like to eat? I'll ask the driver to buy it for you." I'll say it one more time. "Get out of the car." I gave the final ultimatum with a cold face. Lucas still had a playful smile on his face. "Nah, I really know I was wrong. How about you hit me a couple of times to let off some steam? I'm back safe and sound now, and the elders of our two families are still waiting for our wedding. You've been angry for so long. You should have had enough of it. We can't give up our relationship of so many years just because of such a small matter." I was too lazy to waste more words and directly called the security guards to tow him out. Just having been rebuffed, Lucas's little girlfriend came looking for him right after. "Lucas, didn't you say you were going to buy me breakfast?" This girl was exactly the one we met in the bridal shop last time. She looked around 20 years old, with a bit of baby fat, and was quite cute. Lucas really had a good eye for choosing girlfriends. "Vivian, be a good girl. I'm busy now. You go back on your own first." As Lucas spoke, he stuffed a card into the girl's hand. "There's 100,000 yuan in this card. The password is your birthday. Buy whatever you want. If it's not enough, tell me." After much coaxing, he finally managed to send the girl away. Vivian worked part-time in a milk tea shop. She was 22 years old, from a family with difficult financial conditions. Her family favored boys over girls and made her drop out of school to work and support her younger brother's studies. After learning about this, Lucas waved his hand generously and directly bought over that milk tea shop. Additionally, he bought a villa for her. Lucas had left his clothes in my car. As soon as I came over, I witnessed such a scene. "Your clothes have dirtied my car." I threw the clothes at his feet. Lucas's eyes lit up. You still can't bear to part with me, right? Otherwise, you wouldn't have come all the way here to give me my clothes in person." "It's not what you think." I felt sorry for that girl just now. "You don't know how unreasonable her parents are." I directly interrupted his chattering. "I'm not interested in her family affairs." Just as Lucas was about to say something more, my phone rang at that moment. I directly answered the call in front of him. "Honey, why haven't you come up yet?" I had the speakerphone on, and the voice directly reached Lucas's ears. "I've run into something here. I'll come up in a while." Julian's voice came out again. "Okay, honey. Doctor slowly on the way and be careful. I'll be waiting for you with our baby at the usual place. Love you." A great first game, and Lucas directly snatched my phone away. "Are you an actor hired by Emma? How much does Emma pay you? I'll give you double, no, 10 times the amount." Julian's voice turned cold. "Lucas, I'm Emma's husband. I don't want you to bother us anymore." Lucas only felt that the voice was familiar, but he still couldn't figure out who was on the other end of the phone. Just as he was about to ask further, the phone gave a reminder that it was powered off. I rubbed my forehead. I had forgotten to charge it because I had left in a hurry. Snatching the phone back, I turned around and left. "Ma, you don't need to try to make me angry like this. That person just now, he must be a professional actor you hired, right? I have to say, he really seems like the real deal." Lucas slapped his forehead in frustration. "I almost forgot the most important thing. There's a business gathering tonight. I'll be representing the family. Don't forget about it. I went to Julian's office. Our daughter was playing with building blocks quietly there. Julian's office had always been mainly in dark gray before. Ever since our daughter started coming here, he directly set up a small playground in one corner of the office. The lounge that used to belong to Julian was also transformed into a children's room. When I went up, Julian had his back to me and was standing in front of the huge French window, looking down at everything below. From that angle, everything that had happened at the entrance just now was clearly visible. I'm going to make your identities public at the business gathering tonight. Julian didn't beat around the bush and got straight to the point. I don't agree. I directly refused. The reason? Julian was concise. You know better than me that the marriage alliance between the two big families. Before I could finish my sentence, Julie indirectly interrupted me. Don't use that high-sounding excuse to prevaricate me. Whether it's the family feud or because of Lucas, you know it clearly in your heart. Julian stepped closer step by step. A huge sense of oppression came over me, and I took an uncomfortable step backward. He grabbed my chin. A person's patience is limited. Don't challenge my limits. I slapped his hand away, and my voice turned cold as well. Julian, no one can force me to do something I don't want to do, and that includes you too. If you feel that you're not psychologically balanced, we can terminate this at any time. The Civil Affairs Bureau is also open for business tomorrow. We can go and get a divorce certificate at any time. Julian looked at me for a long time, and there was an expression in the depths of his eyes that I couldn't understand. I didn't want to go to the business gathering tonight, but our daughter secretly slipped out when we weren't paying attention. Miss Emma, I'm really sorry. I thought the little miss had your permission to come out and look for you. The butler kept apologizing. Julian's eyes also turned cold. If even a single hair on the child's head is missing, you don't have to stay here anymore. I opened the voice message my daughter had left for me. Mommy, please don't quarrel with Daddy anymore. It's all that bad uncle's fault. Baby will go and settle the score with that bad uncle and make sure he can never bully Mommy again. The car sped along the road, running several red lights in a row. After arriving at the destination, Julian asked the security guards at the entrance, but the result was that they hadn't seen the little girl come by. I called my daughter's phone watch countless times, but it all showed that it was powered off. Julian mobilized all the people he could under his command. Julian and I searched separately. As soon as I turned around, I ran into Lucas, who was accompanied by Vivian in a formal dress. Lucas's eyes lit up. I knew you would definitely come. Who was that just now? Due to the angle, Lucas only saw Julian's back. At this moment, I was too lazy to exchange pleasantries with him and got straight to the point. Lucas, I'm asking you, where's my daughter? Lucas looked puzzled. What daughter? You've done enough acting. If you go any further, it'll be over the top. There was full of hostility in Vivian's eyes as she looked at me. I was too lazy to pay attention to them and turned around to leave. Do you mean that little girl wearing a flowery little dress, with two little buns on her head, and holding a little rabbit doll? Vivian's voice made me stop in my tracks. Where is she? I took 3 steps at a time and urgently asked. My anxious appearance scared Lucas beside me. Your acting is a bit too much. I know you're trying to attract my attention. Shut the FK up. Unable to bear it any longer, I directly shouted angrily. Vivian was also startled. I don't know. I directly grabbed her by the neck. I'm asking you one more time, where is she? Vivian's face turned red. I really don't know. I just happened to meet her when I was shopping. That little girl asked me if I knew Lucas. She said she was looking for Lucas. Under my intense gaze, Vivian stammered and continued. Then I said I didn't know and left. I didn't meet her again after that. Do you really think I'm stupid? I'm telling you, if anything happens to my daughter, I'll make you pay with your life. Leaving this sentence behind, I turned around and ran outside. Vivian's words were half true and half false. But there wasn't that much time to waste with her now. I quickly called Julian and asked him to check the surveillance cameras at the intersections and in front of the stores. It was true that Vivian accidentally met my daughter. Judging from her evasive eyes, I knew she was hiding something about what happened later. After checking the surveillance cameras on all the roads, we finally found out that my daughter had gotten into a black car. I followed all the way to a remote small mountain village, which was in the middle of nowhere. Julian arrived with his bodyguards. Afraid that our daughter might be in danger, we took separate actions. When we found our daughter, she was all dirty, and the little dress she was wearing was torn by the branches. Our daughter was crying pitifully and was holding onto my clothes tightly in my arms. "Mommy, baby thought I would never see you again. Baby was so scared, mommy, whoo, woo, woo." After confirming that our daughter was okay, I turned to the rural couple beside me. "This little girl was bought by me with money. She's going to be a child bride for my son, and you can't take her away." The man spoke in a rough voice, looking like a ruffian. "That's right. We spent money on her. If you dare to take her away, I'll call the police directly." The old woman also viciously chimed in beside him. I was so angry that I laughed. They were the pot calling the kettle black. I carried my daughter to the corner and said softly, "Baby, wait for mommy here for a while. Mommy will be back soon." Although she was very scared, as long as it was my words, my daughter always obeyed them without question. I covered the little one's eyes with a silk scarf. "Baby, count from 1 to 100, and then mommy will come and carry you away." With her eyes covered, my daughter began to count seriously with her little fingers. To my eyes suddenly turned cold. I walked up to the couple in a few steps, picked up a nearby chair, and smashed it on their heads. After all, I had learned Taekwondo for a few years. I might not be able to deal with Julian, but dealing with these two people was more than enough for me. When Julian arrived with his bodyguards, it was almost over. The couple had bruised faces, blood was still flowing from their heads, and their eyes were swollen into big lumps. The couple lay on the ground, looking at me hatefully. "I'm going to call the police. I'm going to make you serve a life sentence in prison." I rubbed my aching wrist and said, "It's me who should call the police. Let me give you some knowledge. Trafficking children is generally sentenced to more than 5 years and less than 10 years in prison. I've already called the police for you. You just wait to serve a life sentence in prison." Please believe that I definitely have the right to say these words. My daughter was almost done counting. I gently picked up my daughter and walked outside. When I passed by Julian, I glanced at him. "Leave the rest to you." After we got home, my daughter's mood gradually calmed down. She told me about asking for directions during the day. My daughter asked Vivian if she knew Lucas. Vivian mistakenly thought she was Lucas's daughter, so she told her that as long as she took that car, she could find Lucas. And my daughter, without any precautions, got into that car. My daughter raised her innocent little face and looked at me. "Mommy, why did that auntie lie to me? I got into that car, but I still couldn't find the bad uncle who bullied you. They were mean to me, shouted at me, and didn't give me anything to eat. They said if I wasn't obedient, they would starve me for a few days. I felt so uncomfortable today, but when I saw you, Mommy, I didn't feel uncomfortable anymore." After my daughter fell asleep, Julian came in with a first aid kit. "I'll deal with that, Vivian." Julian was filled with coldness all over. This time, Vivian had really touched his sore spot. He grabbed my wrist and rolled up my sleeve. There was a huge swelling on my arm. "I don't need it. I can handle it myself." I shook my head. Julian paused for a moment while he was applying the medicine, and then a sharp pain shot through my wrist. Julian said coldly, "I'm not discussing this with you." Realizing that his tone was too harsh, he softened his voice and continued, "That couple will never get out for the rest of their lives. The driver who trafficked our daughter has also been caught." I softly responded with endame. I knew Julian would handle these things well. We were silent facing each other, and Julian silently applied the medicine. Just as I was about to ask him to leave, he suddenly said, "Are you still thinking about rekindling your relationship with Lucas?" I tried to pull my wrist back abruptly, but Julian seemed to have already known my temper very well. He held my wrist tightly and wouldn't let me pull away. Julian continued, "Meh, give me a try, I'm no worse than Lucas." Before I could say anything, his phone rang inappropriately. It was a strange number. Julian was just about to hang up when I said, "Answer it." "What if something's wrong with that driver?" As soon as the call was connected, Lucas's voice came through again. "Julian, is your phone broken? I couldn't get through to you. It seems that Emma really has a daughter. You let me take Vivian to the banquet." Although Julian quickly hung up the phone, Lucas's voice still reached our ears clearly. When there was no way to explain, Julian chose not to explain. The next day, without saying a word, I went straight to Vivian's store. Unfortunately, Lucas was also there. "Miss Emma, you?" Vivian came up to greet me. I directly slapped her across the face. The slap was quite hard, and Vivian's face immediately swelled up. Lucas reacted quickly and protected Vivian behind him. "What are you doing?" I looked at him coldly. "Get out of the way, or I'll hit you too." Lucas opened his eyes wide. "Are you crazy? Let's talk about things. Why do you have to resort to violence? If Vivian has offended you, I'll apologize to you on her behalf, okay?" Lucas kept protecting her, and I just felt my anger about to burst out. "Lucas, you can't interfere in this matter. Because of her, my daughter was sold to a remote mountain village. If I hadn't found her in time, I don't know how much suffering she would have endured. Who else should I settle the score with if not her?" When I said the last sentence, I directly shouted it out. Lucas said blankly, "That little girl is really your daughter?" I thought. Then he turned to look at Vivian. "Vivian, did you really?" Vivian covered her face, and tears streamed down. She bit her lip and looked determined. "I didn't. Miss Emma, if you want to wrong me, you should find a better reason." Lucas turned to look at me. "Ma, could it be that you're mistaken? Vivian has always been kind. This matter should have nothing to do with her." Vivian also chimed in, "Miss Emma, when catching a thief, you need evidence, when catching an adulterer, you need proof. Show me the evidence so that I have nothing to say." From an angle that Lucas couldn't see, the pride and arrogance in Vivian's eyes were almost overflowing. Vivian had majored in computer technology in university, and erasing that section of the surveillance video was as easy as pie for her. But she didn't know that restoring that erased section of the surveillance video was also a piece of cake for me. I showed that surveillance video to Lucas, catching her red-handed. "I'll hand this video over to the police, and it's up to them to deal with it. But before that, let's settle the previous score." In the surveillance video, after my daughter got into the car, that cruel smile on Vivian's face lingered in Lucas's mind. He seemed to be seeing Vivian for the first time, and he didn't say a word for a long time. I directly walked around in front of her, grabbed her hair, and smashed her head against the wall. "Lucas, help me." Lucas came back to his senses from his daze, grabbed my arm, and for the first time, his tone towards me softened. "Mama, for the sake of our many years of friendship, let Vivian off this time. I promise this won't happen again." I directly shook off his arm, showing him with my actions that it was impossible. Seeing me approaching again in a hurry, Lucas picked up a nearby vase and smashed it towards my head. "Ma, how are you? I didn't mean to." "Don't be afraid. I'll take you to the hospital." Lucas was flustered. The fragments of the vase fell all over the ground and bright red blood dripped down. All I could see was red in front of my eyes. I just felt a sharp pain in my head, and it seemed as if all the strength had been drained from my body. I staggered and pushed away Lucas's arm that was reaching out to support me, struggling to get up. Just as I was about to faint, I fell into a broad embrace. Julian's voice filled with anger rang in my ear. When I woke up in a daze, the first thing I saw was Julian's anxious face. "Nima, hold on. Don't fall asleep." I wanted to tell him that I was okay, but before I could say anything, my consciousness fell into a coma again. I lay in the hospital for a whole month. During this period, Julian didn't allow anyone to disturb me. Lucas came a few times, but he was directly thrown out by Julian's bodyguards. Julian was really angry this time. He launched an indiscriminate attack on Lucas's family company. In just 1 week, Lucas's family company suffered heavy losses. Lucas came to the hospital and made a big scene, asking Julian why he had done this. Julian just replied with one word, "Get lost." Since this way didn't work, Lucas set his sights on me again. After I recovered from my injury and got home, Lucas sent a huge bouquet of roses to the villa with a note saying, "The most beautiful flowers for the most beautiful you." I directly told the bodyguards to throw them away and disinfect the air. Julian came down from the second floor and happened to see this scene. "You two grew up together, yet he doesn't even know that you're allergic to pollen." It seemed like an unintentional remark, but in fact, he was setting traps step by step. This guy was secretly malicious. I glanced at him and then retorted, "We also grew up together, and I didn't know that you've done so many things behind my back." "That video, you sent it to me anonymously, right?" Julian didn't deny it. "I just didn't want you to be fooled like a fool." In the following days, Lucas occasionally created chance encounters. Julian pushed up his gold-rimmed glasses. Vivian's store was reported for illegal business operations and serious tax evasion. Someone found foreign objects in the drinks in the store, and some people vomited and had diarrhea after drinking. All kinds of symptoms kept occurring. Vivian was directly taken away for investigation. Lucas was really worried and tried every means to get her out. Julian also put pressure on the police, and Lucas was at a loss for what to do for a while. He came to me and said, "Ma, we can have our quarrels, but Vivian is innocent. Can you be lenient? Do you know that once she has a criminal record, Vivian's life will be ruined? Don't deny it. I know you must be the one behind all this. As long as you promise to let Vivian go, I can get a marriage certificate with you right away." He paused and then continued, "Last time I was just impulsive. But you're okay, and Julian has also broken with me because of you. For your sake, he has made my family's company suffer heavy losses. I won't hold it against you. Let's just let this go." Hearing this, I couldn't help but laugh. If it were before, I would still have considered the affection we had since we grew up together. From the moment he picked up the vase and smashed it at me, there was no longer the slightest bit of affection between us. Lucas, debts must be repaid, and those who kill must pay with their lives. The moment Vivian dared to have ideas about my daughter, she should have expected the consequences for herself. I directly waved my hand to shoo him away. "Ma, I don't want to take things too far and ruin our friendship of many years. As long as you promise to let Vivian go, I won't hand this in." Lucas slowly took out a voice recorder from his pocket. "The conversation just now has been recorded. Ma, don't force me," I said unfairly, then hand it in. "Let's see if you can get her out." The next day, Lucas was grounded by his family. Julian told me that Lucas had taken the voice recorder to the police station, trying to prove that I was the one behind the scenes planning and framing. However, when he turned on the voice recorder, everyone was stunned. What came out of it wasn't our conversation at all, but a song. "Pig, you have 2 holes in your nose. Pig, you have 2 holes in your nose. Pig, you have 2 holes in your nose." The cheerful music resounded throughout the hall. The expressions on everyone's faces were extremely interesting. This incident was soon exposed by the media. The eldest young master of the Lucas family spent a fortune on a girl from the countryside and lost all his face at the police station. All kinds of rumors spread, and Lucas's reputation in the circle was completely ruined. The elders of the Lucas family were tough, but Lucas was even tougher. He directly declared, "If you want me to marry Emma, then let Emma release Vivian. Otherwise, there's nothing to talk about." These words made the elders of the Lucas family so angry that they directly used the family rules. The Lucas family wanted to come and seek peace, but they were all turned away. Seeing that it was no use coming to me, the Lucas family directly went to my parents. I waved my hand and said that this matter should not be mentioned again, and the engagement was directly voided. "If the Lucas family comes again next time, just drive them out. Don't be polite. With Julian's help, Vivian was sentenced to 15 years in prison. When she learned the news, Vivian went crazy. After being appraised by the relevant institution, she was directly sent to a mental hospital. When Lucas learned about it, he neither made a fuss nor caused trouble. He just gave me a complicated look. 2 months later, a person quietly disappeared from the mental hospital, and no one noticed. On this day, my daughter's kindergarten teacher called me. "Mrs. Evelyn, did you pick up the child?" The teacher's tone was very cautious. I was stunned. "Isn't my daughter in the kindergarten?" "She was there in the morning. I didn't see her during the activity just now. I thought she was picked up by her parents." "Mrs. Evelyn, don't worry. We'll look for her right away." The teacher's voice was very anxious, and she was almost crying. After hanging up the phone, I directly called Julian. When he learned that our daughter was missing, Julian directly canceled the meeting in his hand and ordered the bodyguards to start searching. I received a message on my phone. "Your daughter is in my hands. If you want her to be safe, come alone to the rooftop of the Central City Hospital. If you dare to bring anyone with you, I'll directly push your daughter off." It was Vivian. My eyes turned completely cold. The journey that usually took 40 minutes, I drove at full speed, running several red lights, and arrived in 15 minutes. On the rooftop, my daughter's hands and feet were tied up, and her little face was full of grievances. Vivian was standing at the edge of the rooftop with my daughter. As long as she exerted a little more force, my daughter would fall off. I composed myself and said, "What do you want?" Vivian's expression was a bit crazy. You also have this day. If you want me to let your daughter go, sure. Kneel down and beg me. If you beg me, I'll let her go." I shook my head. "You won't. Even if I kneel down and beg you, you still won't. All you want is to take revenge on me." I turned my gaze to my daughter. "Baby, don't be afraid. Mommy is here." Vivian's eyes became vicious. "Why? Why were you born as a high and mighty young lady? Why does everyone revolve around you? Why was I born into such a miserable family? I'm not willing to accept this." I could feel that Vivian's mental state was not right, so I didn't dare to provoke her any further at the moment. "Do you know how I lived in the mental hospital for the past 2 months? They beat me, threw dead rats on my bed, and poured cold water on me to wake me up when I was asleep. They would beat me with sticks whenever they were not satisfied. I wanted to die, but even death was a luxury for me. I want you to know that leaving me alive was the biggest mistake you made." My heart trembled. Julian, he actually had people arranged in the mental hospital too. "Vivian, you're still young and have a great life ahead of you. Are you sure you want to ruin it here?" I paused and then continued, "Let my daughter go, and I'll give you a sum of money. You can run away to a far place and no one will care about your criminal record." Vivian burst into laughter. Do you think I'm still afraid of death? I just want to drag you to hell with me now." Seeing that the situation was developing in an uncontrollable direction, I said urgently, "What about Lucas? Are you willing to give up on him?" At the mention of this name, Vivian's eyes trembled, and her hands froze. "Lucas," she murmured to herself, "Lucas doesn't want me anymore. It's all because of you. Lucas drew a clear line with me after he rescued me from the mental hospital." As she spoke, her eyes became vicious again. Why does everyone revolve around you? Do you know that every time I have to adjust myself according to your personality and preferences so that Lucas will pay attention to me? He has said he likes me countless times, but he has never said he loves me. I know. I've always known that he was looking at you through me. You have a strong personality and are unwilling to bow down, so Lucas cultivated an obedient Emma in me. And I am your most perfect substitute. After he hurt you last time, he got dead drunk. It was the first time he got drunk. He picked up a fruit knife and stabbed his own arm fiercely. If it hadn't been discovered in time, his arm would have been useless. No, Lucas loves you." Looking at her, I directly told her about the fact that Lucas had threatened me for her sake. Vivian's eyes became unfocused. "Is that so? Has Lucas done so much for me?" After a while, she shook her head. You're lying to me. You're trying to deceive me. Lucas's voice came from behind. Vivian, don't make any more mistakes. Vivian rumbled and her eyes evaded. She was most afraid of Lucas seeing her most embarrassing side, but the more she was afraid of something, the more it happened. Lucas was sweating profusely and breathing heavily. It was obvious that he had run all the way here. Sorry, Emma. I've caused you trouble. Seeing that Lucas's gaze was on me again, Vivian went crazy. Mama, I want you to regret it for the rest of your life. After saying that, she fell backward with my daughter in her arms. Behind them was a vast expanse of empty space. Falling down from there meant certain death. Before my mind could even think, my body had already reacted instinctively. A figure rushed out and Lucas also grabbed the corner of Vivian's clothes at the first moment. I lay on the edge of the rooftop, holding tightly onto the rope around my daughter's body, pulling her up bit by bit. Just as my daughter was about to be saved, another unexpected thing happened. Vivian's eyes darkened, and she shook off Lucas's outstretched hand. She hugged my daughter's small body tightly. With all the weight combined, I was pulled out. At the critical moment, Lucas grabbed my other hand. Vivian and I were hanging in the air. Vivian, do you want Lucas to die with you? I roared angrily. Vivian's body froze. She raised her head and stared blankly at Lucas. Lucas, I'm sorry. And, I love you. After saying that, she let go of her hand and allowed her body to fall. No, Lucas's eyes were filled with fury. Fortunately, Julian arrived in time at the critical moment. My daughter and I were saved safely. Lucas fell to the edge of the rooftop, his eyes filled with pain. My daughter was also badly frightened and underwent psychological rehabilitation for a whole month. Lucas left after leaving a letter. I'm sorry for causing you so much trouble. Because of me, your daughter was almost killed, and because of me, Vivian lost her life. I'm filled with regret and self-blame, but it's all in vain. When I first met Vivian, she was so much like you in college, confident and assertive, kind with a bit of edge. Sometimes I can't even tell whether I like you or her. The time I hurt you, I wished I could cut off my own hand. When Vivian died, I just felt an emptiness in my heart. Maybe I'm really the scumbag that others talk about, falling in love with two women at the same time with one heart. I'm leaving, and maybe we'll never see each other again in this lifetime. In the next life, if we can still meet, I will definitely hold your hand tightly. I won't be half-hearted anymore. In this lifetime, I'll give you to Julian. I hope you'll always be happy and will never meet someone as worthless as me again. Goodbye. I held the letter, stared into the distance, and remained silent for a long time. Julian stood behind me, accompanying me in silence.